What the fuck am I doing? Why am I doing a stream this close to Christmas? I don't fucking know, but I'm on here. What's up, everybody? It's just me, Uncle Bill, for right now. But I've decided to do an impromptu Christmas wish list stream. So this is like one of them ideas you pull out of your ass at the last minute. I don't know why. But this is gonna be just going through some stuff that I'm interested in buying, horror related, of course. Maybe even action related. I don't know. For we're gonna look at some websites. We're gonna see what they got going on. I'll take questions. I'm gonna put the link in here because I don't give a fuck. We're off the grid. Like this is not an official show. It's not been sanctioned by President Jack Tunney nor the Commission of Dead Pit Affiliates. So anybody that wants to join this show, if you want to get on there and Jackie Bird or whatever, I mean, CK's not on here to appreciate it, but I'll just kick you off. But I mean, if you actually want to get on here and talk about some shit, then you can. That's how I am. I know Dana had some issues with some bird jacking. I'm not gonna have it. I don't tolerate that kind of shenanigans. But let's go ahead and put that in there. And if you want to come on, you can. If not, that's fine. I will be going through a bunch of stuff anyway, even if you don't come on here. It ain't no big deal to me. You know what I'm saying? No, Dana didn't. Dana didn't have any affiliation with the bird per se. She was just present when a bird was being stimulated. So there's that. Let's see who we got in here, though. There's a lot of people in there. I was not expecting this. We've got Fight the Good Fight. A Triumph song. I hope it is. Jackson Jack. Justin. Vanderhoff. Witch Hunter. Phantasm Matt. But why don't you get on here, Matt? You're in West Virginia. You know there ain't shit going on in West Virginia. Blizzard Bob's in here. The Mayor. Two Scoops. I want to talk about that too, because that was a pretty awesome show. For those people that didn't check it out, last night we did a show with Michael Two Scoops Felsher, and we did in fact get at least two scoops, and one of them was enough that it made like several different kind of like news outlets. I mean, not major, it wasn't fucking CNN or anything, but it was like the DVD trade kind of outlets. One of them was that Kickboxer is going to be released by Kino, and that is crazy because I was just talking about this not too long ago. Me and Mark and Rambo do shows every now and then. The fact that that movie hasn't had a decent release, and it really hasn't. I mean, Bloodsport just got a decent release, and then it got like 50 releases at one time. All those damn like media books and you know the foreign media books and steel books and all that shit. But Kickboxer, which to me is right on par. They're basically the same fucking movie, if we're being honest. Right on par with Bloodsport. Never really had a solid release until now, because per the scoop, that is going to be one of the next big releases coming from. He said like a lot of other films too, but for some reason my mind just blanked all those out when he said Kickboxer. I kind of freaked the fuck out. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's going to be a 4K. And it's going to be, I'm sure, have some. My only regret on that show last night was that I did not ask him, and I should have, if he got Tom Poe. I don't know. I don't know if the guy that played Tom Poe is alive. If he's not, I apologize. If he is, I pray to God that they got him to do an interview about that movie, because I don't think that guy, or maybe it was in the second one. I'm not sure what ethnicity that guy is that played Tom Poe. And I've always kind of been curious to hear the backstory about that. Jason Naylor, Tell my name. You doing, Bubby? Vanderhoff says he doesn't hate Black Christmas 2019. Well, there's something wrong with you. Lucio Inferno, I don't know where you been, but I already got OLED or OLED. That's what the hip folks say. I got an OLED in there. It's a 70-inch Sony Bravia. I think it's the A85X or something like that. I don't know if I've talked about that on here or not. I talked about it with a couple people, Mark and Rambo. I don't know, but it's insane. Like I know people talk about that shit, and whenever people would talk about that stuff, I would just be like, "Hey God, like that's stupid. There can't be that big of a difference." Like blah 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 blah. Like I'm fine with whatever TV. I had a QLED before that. No, no, it's true. Like you should believe the hype on those televisions because that's crazy difference. Like going from just an LED to a QLED TV is there's a little bit of difference. Going from that to like one of those OLEDs it's insane. It's like I would equate it as to going from like a DVD to a 4K. Holiday Styles. It's good to have you in here, man. The link is posted in there if anybody wants to join. Let's see a couple other people here. Business of Fear, Ben, who's on Twitter, and he asks, "What's up with Trick or Treat 4K?" The show. I may direct you to the show from last night, where we talk about exactly what's up with the with Michael Slipcase Felcher, the guy that's putting that out. We talk in great detail about all that. That would be killer if Kickboxer 2 with Sasha Mitchell came out. That why didn't they do that? Really, that would have been a good because there's like Rambo would know this. There's like 5 or 6 of those movies at least. They should have put out a whole box set. Suspirian Knight says the Warriors Arrow 4K is killer. Pretty much everybody that I've seen talk about this movie said that it was insane, the picture quality. So Crater's in here. How you doing, Crater? Wet movie, the wet one. Oh hell, I didn't know that. So Tong Po is still around then. Good. You bleed like Melee. Melee. Good fuck. And Van Damme's like, no. It's like one of the best scenes ever. See, that's what that's what I was thinking. Like, I think they put like makeup, like prosthetic makeup on him. And I know that that's probably like a really common thing around that time period to do. Nowadays, you never ever do something like that. Fight the good fight. I was going to ask about that too. Now, anybody that has this type of television, um, there is a risk of these TVs to get like burnt in images to the actual television. I don't know if anybody has any tips about how to avoid that. I know you're supposed to keep them like they're not supposed to stay on static pictures for long periods of time. Like in other words, you can't leave something paused and just leave it on there with those televisions and keep it up, because it will burn the picture into the actual like TV. So if anybody has any ideas or if you know like what kind of prevents that from happening aside from like turning it off, I guess I'd be all ears to hear that. What's up, Huck? Princess Puffins, she is going to get a mixture of all of her favorite treats and she's gonna get some toys. Pretty much like she'll play with anything though. She like plays with socks and shit. She don't care. I never saw this. Like, okay, So this is one of the things that was talked about last night too. Um, and this was kind of like apparently a pretty big deal that happened with him. There was he did a review or some sort of, I don't know if it's a video review or if it was a written review of Beverly Hills Cop 2 where he talked about it being, kind of denigrating to women and kind of behind the times, I guess, and that there wasn't any kind of good like female role models. And I haven't seen it. This is just what I've heard. And he talked about it last night on the show. And then apparently there was a lot of backlash to that, and he kind of got upset. There's a lot of anti woke people. I just the whole I'll be honest with you. I really like hate both of those ideas equally. The woke and the anti woke. Like I think that as a matter of fact, I wish people would just stop saying the fucking word woke at this point. Um, but I guess you've always got those two factions of people, right? You got the ones that are like, we need to make progress and A, B, or C, and then you got the other ones that are like, fuck a bunch of progress. People need to get tougher, and I don't know. There was something to all that, but I haven't even seen the video or the review or whatever. What's up, Mac Boy Color? There's 6 or 7 Kickboxer movies. Yep, we need a box set. I'm sure they're all over the place with rights and stuff. Unfortunately, I don't think we will. I wish. Whoever comes out with that's gonna make a fortune, though. I saw this actually. Um, I think it was something that you posted. So did you order directly from Arrow, like themselves, and then like the whole side of the thing came crushed, which I'll be honest with you, I don't know anything at all about Arrow's customer service. I've never had to use it, thankfully. But the only company that consistently has great customer service is Vinegar Syndrome. And you would not think that just based on like some of their fans and, kind of like some of the stuff they release, you would feel like that they would be kind of hard asses about that stuff. Some people they've had working there and things too, which is another thing I want to talk about as well. I'll bring that up if I can, to show on here too. But they are like Vinegar Syndrome is amazing with fans and amazing with like returning, uh, you know, orders and replacing orders, different things like that. They're probably the best company overall. Ah, that's cool. So Matt says his OLED has a setting where it slightly moves the picture so burn is unlikely, and it does pixel cleaning every so often automatically. Well, that's good. The woke creepy Kentuckian is in here, and he says Mr. Flesh Mr. Flesher is an ally. Okay. The world is demanding irrational plump Ethel. It would be the last story in wokeness. I was really being serious, and it kind of hurt my feelings that he downplayed Crazy Fat Ethel because I was like I, I don't care. I will champion that movie, Criminally Insane, aka Crazy Fat Ethel. It's as good as like any of those other movies, like Spookies and stuff like that, that get this cult following. Like it should be a bigger cult film than it is, and it definitely should have like some sort of release other than a DVD. Old shitty DVD that comes on like a 2-pack with some other movie that I yeah. Steven says he's surprised we didn't get a Sleepaway 4K for the 40th anniversary. Just that's true. Yeah, I mean, and that's a weird thing too because um They're celebrating the 40th anniversary of it. I know this because I met everybody except for Jonathan Tiersten at Scarefest and got everybody to sign like a sleepaway camp poster. So it was almost the entire cast, and that was the big deal is that it was the 40th anniversary. So that's what they were all doing. I don't understand why they're not recognizing that more in terms of physical media. Not every company has a Patty from Vincent or whatever her name was working for. That's true. She was awesome. I would never imagine this that Dark Force had incredible customer service. So yeah, another thing coming up that I'm gonna cover too, um, and hopefully with some help from some different people, is Vinegar Syndrome's doing the subscriber week again, which is awesome. That's probably my favorite thing that they do. You talk about their sales and you talk about their Black Friday and you talk about your John 316 and it didn't get you nowhere. But the truth of the matter is that that subscriber week sale is the best thing that they do. That's when you can get like $10 Blu-rays, $15 4Ks. It switches every day. It's awesome. Like I don't think I'll be able to cover it every single day. I'll definitely be able to cover the first and maybe the second. So that's going to be badass. It's coming up. I thought this would happen too. Terravision's a company I want to talk about later on in this as well because they just released a statement. I wish I had it. If anybody can pull it up for me and send it to me, that'd be great because I don't have Facebook. But I think it was posted on their Facebook. May be on Instagram too. But it was essentially like a list of like movies that if you bought from Terravision, like you're not going to get them until this date. And it's like they're like, well, we can't give you this shit because we don't have any of it yet, and it's in some sort of rendering process. I'm like, dude, uh, probably don't sell it then. Was a thought. Maybe Keith Stofferson. A great name. Keith Stofferson. Uh, did somebody say that? I don't remember anybody say that. That Home Sweet Home was getting a physical media release. I fucking wish. That's another movie that is highly underrated in the cult world. Crater, buddy, go to Unearthed Films. They've got every damn August. Well, not every one of them, but like the first three. Uh, like it's August Underground Mortem, and August Underground. You better watch out, or whatever the fuck the third one is. They're all out. They just came out probably the last 6 months, I think. I'm not positive if he ever said that. I can text his ass. Hold on. I just like fucking with Felcher a lot of the times anyway. Give out his home phone number and have everybody on here text him. Okay, let's see what he says. Yeah, if you want to see those, I'm pretty sure it's Unearthed Films. If you go over there, they've got them all. Well, the first three, like I said, I don't know how many he made. Was the first three the August Underground films? Was that the only like August Underground films? Because I know he made Red Sin Tower, and he made some other movies that weren't like those type of films. So I don't know how many of those he actually made. Yeah, that's one of my biggest problems with that company. I'm not sure. Is it the owner? Because if you're talking about Brad Henderson, I don't know if he's the owner or not. Um, but it's him a lot of times and somebody else that just get into fights with people. Like there was the there's the one thing where he basically said like, "We don't give a fuck what you think about us. Like we're not going to try to get any better. We don't care. Like if if you have a problem with our releases, it's just like, dude, that sounds like something like you'd say in a high school like Twitter battle or something, and not something that you say to customers of a company." I should. Yeah, unfortunately, he tells all of the customers to fuck off, which they are. That may not be the best move. All right, let's look and see what they got. I'm gonna try this, and hopefully, uh, this doesn't cause my computer to fucking shut down. It could. What that's I should probably enlarge that somewhat. There's some naughtiness on here, but it's not. I've already looked. It's not anything like too naughty. You don't want it to be too naughty. It's got to be just naughty enough. So right off the bat, I'm gonna tell you that the Grindhouse has been shilling the absolute living hell out of this Impulse movie with William Shatner, and I have zero interest in this movie. I don't know why. I've tried to like get hyped up about it, but there's just something about it that looks like something I would hate. And I don't know if anybody's seen Impulse, but Grindhouse is really trying to get rid of that movie. I don't know what Mean Guns is. That's not on my. It's got Christopher Lambert and Ice T in it though, so that's a hell of a combination. The Highlander and the dude from Body Count. Yes, we did have Brad on the show. Um, no, and yeah, yeah. I mean, he was on when he was with Vinegar Syndrome, and I mean, I don't have a whole lot to say about any of that shit or anything. I just know that it's crazy to get in Twitter fights with like customers. That seems like about the dumbest thing you could do. Ken Carlson says Impulse is a great addition. Okay, well, I did not know. Leviathan is the one that I want. I'm definitely getting. I want that one. The Kino 4K, and from what I can remember, we can look on here. It's got like a lot of special features on it. Let's check it out. So we got a brand new 4K master from the 35 millimeter interpositive. New audio commentary. The second disc is Surviving Leviathan interview with actor Ernie Hudson, Dissecting Cobb interview with actor Hector Elizondo, Monster Melting Pot featurette, new audio commentaries, and yeah, that's actually a lot for Leviathan. And to be honest with you, I get Leviathan and Deep Star Six fucking mixed up all the time. But I need to see this again because I know this is the one with Peter Weller in it, and it's been forever since I saw that movie. I know Rambo's always talking about it too. So that's one that I'm definitely like interested in. I'll be buying that one with all of the Christmas money that I get, of course. And there's additional information on there. Let's see what else they got. There's all kinds of sexy movies. Downtown Heat. Jess Franco. God, these are full moon pre-orders. No, no, I'm sorry. We won't be doing that. So it looks like Full Moon put out. I had no idea. Seed People. Um, that looks just awesome. uh, a 1992 full moon science fiction horror movie. Okay. So they put out Seed People. Look at them things. Scaring me to death. I don't buy full moon Blu-rays as a general rule unless they're really on sale. Countdown to Esmeralda Bay, Downtown Heat, which looks like something Vinegar Syndrome would put out. Voodoo Passion, The Unscarred. No, that's Severin. I'm sorry. That's Buddy Giovinazzo. For those people that remember Buddy Giovinazzo, he did Combat Shock, which has been sold out forever. I wanted to get that, but you can't get it on their site. Now, this shit right here confuses me. We're going to talk about this too. This Hellraiser shit that's going on right now. Okay. So Hellraiser, so Arrow releases a box set of Hellraiser 1 through 4. And then they release this, like to the right here, the standard UHD Hellraiser tetralogy. Now, I'm confused. So, this, which just came out, contains this. So, is this just... This would be really shitty if this is what this was. So this is just all of that stuff without like a fancy box set with some books and like shit in it. Is that what we're doing? Is that what that is? So it's just a standard edition of what they already released without like that's shitty, man. So they put that shit out and they waited what, about 2 months, 3 months, and then put this out. What? I mean, I've seen some companies, not just Arrow, but other companies do shit like this. Synapse is a good example of it. As well, but I don't know why, but I would think if you're going to put something out like, and they did this same shit with Psycho too, which I'm getting to. If you're going to put something out that's that expensive and that kind of like, lauded, and you're going to put all your money into it, and then you're going to turn right around and release like a standard edition for half the price. There's something fucking just shady about that. I don't like it. No, sir. I don't like it. Let's see. So a lot of people are actually hyping up Seed People. That's right. We all got Vince Russo swerved on that. Part 1 isn't included. I'm not sure if that's better or worse. Are you talking about like Psycho? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's in the Psycho one. So, shit. Oh God. I think you're preaching to the choir, Ragnar. That's really not the point of what I'm like saying. The point of what I'm saying is that if you don't know there's a fucking other edition coming out, you're gonna buy the one edition you think is coming out. It doesn't really have anything to do with like packaging. So, all right. I'm assuming that right through here somewhere. There we go. There's the Psycho. The story continues. So they also just released the Psycho box set. So this is the 4K Psycho box set without part 1. You get parts 2 through, which honest to God, I probably would have bought this instead of the one that I did buy had I known anything about this because I don't really like I've already had Psycho 1 on like another edition. I didn't need it really. Ah, whatever. The last slumber party. When's that shit coming out? Okay, let's see if there's anything on here though, other than stuff that is just absolutely going to piss me off. A lot of porn stuff. Don't get this. Don't buy the abandoned, please. I hear Raiders of the Living Dead is really good. Well, not really good, but good for what it is. Um, but I just don't. That's Severn. So Thanksgiving. I don't. I really like this movie. I don't think I'm going to pay $28 for a fucking Blu-ray of it. It's a standard edition Blu-ray. It's $28 now. Golly, well, need to get back in the game. Try to get some fucking screeners or something if it's gonna be like that. Uh, 88 Films I'm actually getting kind of fond of. They release pretty good, just kind of regular standard edition Blu-rays that are at least affordable, and they have pretty decent sales too. So everybody I've talked to about this movie said it sucked. So if anybody in here did not think it sucked, then please tell me. No, Ragnar, I'm not. I'm complaining about a cheaper version of the release, but what I'm more complaining about is the fact you said don't buy packaging. Well, I'm saying like I wouldn't have bought the packaging. I don't give a fuck about the packaging as much had I known that another version of the film was coming out. So I think that you're missing the boat and the point and everything else, but that's cool. The Arrow disc, the Psycho disc is the exact universal one. Well, that's comforting because I've already got the universal one. So that would have been perfect to have that. Yet again, probably would not have bought that had I known. Had nothing to do with the fucking packaging. Just wouldn't have bought that edition had I known another edition was coming out that would have been cheaper and would have had the films that I wanted. This name always freaks me out because I always think that it's Metal Man. Yeah, this is another thing too that they're doing. So I don't know when this became a thing exactly. Like I couldn't pinpoint a date, but I hate it. They'll put out a Blu-ray of a movie that just came out, and then they'll wait. It's usually 3 or 4 months, something like that. They'll put out a fucking 4K of it, and it seems to be working. Like people will buy both of them. It's possible. I don't think so though. I think he's been around for quite a while. Uh, okay. I can't post any of that, but I appreciate your candor. So, Movie Junkie John says Silent Night was good, worth a buy for sure. I'm gonna have to watch it then. You're the first person I've heard say anything good about that movie, and I was hoping and praying that it would be good because it's John Woo. 88 films, yeah. Dylan says, "You wish you could get a 4K hard boiled." Yep. There's a lot of titles that people are still kind of waiting on 4Ks for. I mean, 4K is not that exploited yet, so that's one good thing. There's still a lot of stuff that could come out. Not to say that you need to buy everything on 4K because you definitely don't, really, in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff that does not benefit one bit in 4K, really. To Die For is an interesting movie. I really liked that movie when it came out with Nicole Kidman. That's the Criterion version, so it's about $40, but I don't think I would buy it for that. But that is a cool little movie. Nobody talks about that. Another one that nobody talks about. I will probably get this because I don't own it. Is Let's Get Harry. It just has a horrible title, but yeah, Gary Busey, Mark Harmon, Robert Duvall. I think it's like a Vietnam movie. Not a Vietnam movie, but they go like on a rescue mission. They all, I think, were in Vietnam together, and like something happens, and one of their friends gets detained in another country, and they have to go on like a rescue mission. I remember it being pretty good. It's limited to 1,500 copies from imprint, so I would recommend that one too. This is pre I think this was pre-motorcycle accident Gary Busey, so he's actually, like, really good in it, and he's not, like, insane. What's up, Michael Sharp? Blu-ray packaging is very woke. I wanted to go see this. Iron Claw, definitely will see it soon. Yeah, there's no way you can make that movie without it being incredibly sad because that whole story of that family is sad. There's just no getting around it. Tough Turf, yes, that one, I think MVD put that out. I believe they did. That's a great unknown or little known movie. Yeah, me too. I really didn't know um about that. Like, I mean, I know he'd mentioned it before, but it didn't sink into my head about what exact movie he was talking about until last night. So Funeral Home will be interesting. Well, Crater, you'd be in the minority because if you listen to all these fuckers on the internet, they've been like they know about all these movies. They've written a thesis about all these movies. So yeah. I actually if I'm pronouncing this name right, Mishra Shade, uh, thought about this, but everybody I've talked to about it said wait on the second site release. So, I mean, I was going to. I actually got shit, I already took it back in there. But I got the Stigmata Umbrella Films release and thought that transfer was really good. Didn't mind it at all. That movie's awful though. Like for some reason in my mind, like when you're young and you watch something and it's like you have that nostalgia factor of it being really, really good. Like you think it's a much better film than it actually is. You go back and watch it, and it's like it had like Portia de Rossi in it, and just there's so much shit from that era, like the late '90s, early two that was in it, and it just like it kind of made me cringe. And it was basically just a rip off of The Exorcist anyway. Pretty much like like there's certain scenes in it that are exact kind of takeaways from The Exorcist. So I don't know. It just didn't hold up like I thought it would. Anyway, let's see. Uh, there it is right there, the umbrella version. Let's see what they got on there. It's like a documentary with Rutger Hauer, audio commentary, the Hitcher, how these movies get made. Not a whole hell of a lot. Wonder what the transfer is on this thing. Where is that at? Don't have it on there. I would be interested to know like what kind of transfer it has. The second site's been working on that damn thing for way too long now. All right. Let's see. Pick a Destiny. I love that movie. I'm probably not going to buy it on Blu ray though. Night of the Blood Monster from Blue Underground. That must be the first one they've released in forever. Jess Franco. No, fuck no. Willy's Wonderland 4K. I did not see that coming, nor did I see like a steelbook coming. Oh fuck, Screen Factory's putting it out. You open it up and it'll fucking explode in your face or something. Like a fart canister will go off in your face. I love that movie. I really do. I think it's like 1,000 times better than that Five Nights at Freddy movie, but I'm not going to be buying that from Screen Factory. The Hell House series. And then we just kind of come. I know the only thing I know about those movies. I've never seen one of them. I just know that Christian Plant CHH thought that that was like the best film of the year, like the last one that they put out. So there must be something to them. Yeah, a lot of people believe that too. 4K is very over. Well, it depends on the company too. Shit, some 4Ks you can get. Excuse me. Some 4Ks you can get for like next to nothing. But now boutique label 4Ks, no, you're gonna be paying. Nowadays, it's like 45 to $65, which is nuts. Yeah. One of the things that I like to do is steal Steve's gimmick. Steve has Facebook though, so it's easier for him to get on here and look at shit. I think they've been working on it longer, sadly. Uh there ain't nothing sadder in this world than somebody that just craves that much attention on a goddamn horror stream. But because of my kind of like sadomasochistic nature, I'm just going to let him keep going on and on. See how far it progresses. Let's see. Grindhouse via Vision. I thought about that, but I don't see it happen. 555. If I'm not mistaken, I wonder if Wes is still in here. Doesn't like one of our friends, like one of the guys that was like really into Dead Pit at one time, own this movie? Is that not the same movie? I think it is. So a long time ago, back when we first were doing the show 40 years ago or whatever, there was a dude that was like really into this movie, and I'm pretty sure this is the right one. And he also happened to like listen to the show and around that same time, and I'm pretty sure he bought the rights to this movie. Okay, yeah. Lewis Justin. Yep. Guys, I hate to tell you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but Steve ain't the first person or the even the 100th person that's gone on websites and looked at shit on a stream. Let's see. You know what? Let's do this for the shits of it too. Hold on. Let's go over. Let's see what Terravision's got going on. Okay. Number one. This is like the Tetris of fucking websites. You have to be a Russian master to navigate this fucking website. Like I've never seen something so just haphazardly fucking thrown together as this shit. Which I mean is odd because if you're running a company like this that's a trying to be, I guess, trying to be a boutique label. I don't know what the really like. This should be your number one priority is this fucking website. But this shit, it even looks like they changed it since the last time I've been on here. It wasn't really like even this well laid out in terms of being able to find anything. So they've got the. I know Wes has already bought this. Ain't no way he has the Forest, Toxic Crusaders, the Newly Deads, the Friday the 13th 1 through 3. I don't think a whole lot has changed on here since the last time we looked at this. Hollowgate, it's on sale though. Now it ships in January. Maybe. Maybe it ships in January. Who the fuck knows? Do they have it? Is that one of the ones that they actually have? I think their website looks like one of those gore sites that you would go to back in the fucking like early 2000s. I didn't even know you could buy Clown House Fight the Good Fight. Like I just, just thought I didn't know that had an official release. No, they don't make nothing is easy with this company. Haunted Wing. I don't know who's releasing the Haunted Wing, but I'll tell you one thing: Terravision's releasing the fuck out of Hollowgate and Blood Car. Does anybody remember the music from Rumpelstiltskin? By the way, just out of curiosity, I didn't know that score was. Oh, you influenced the release of Neon Maniacs on vinyl? Hell yeah! Unfortunately, um, I'd go over to Vinegar Syndrome site, but it's all that partner label shit, and that's just no. I wonder. Hmm. Anybody didn't check it out though. The last Joe Bob drive-in show, they had Robin Sydney, I think is her name, who just married Charles Band, and it was entertaining. They were talking about Gingerdead Man, but if I didn't know any better, I would think she was probably on something, cocaine, meth, some sort of stimulant. That's just a guess. Either that or she's the most like hyper some bitch I've ever seen in my life. The Gingerdead Man is a classic though. Let me look up this real quick. Well, speaking of like websites that are hard to navigate, Jesus Christ. Full Moon's webs. Oh, let me see if make sure I can share this. And there's nothing like incredibly like horrible on here, but this is fucking hilarious. I'm gonna give them credit for this too. I mean, Peter Sweller, it depends on like your sense of humor, really. I mean, is it? It's like I don't know, like a bunch of one-liners and stuff that Gary Busey does as a gingerbread man, like a killer gingerbread man. I don't know if that's for everybody per se. I yeah, Santa Claus is a masterpiece. It is. You're correct, sir. Um, God, I mean, they're both basically the same movie. Honestly, it's kind of same kind of thing. I think that Gingerdead Man might be even lower budget than Jack Frost. Like, I mean, they talk about this, but you can tell by watching it. Like the Gingerdead Man, there's just scenes put in it, 10-minute talking scenes just to have like enough filler to make it like a whole movie. So let's see. I wanted to show you this because this is killer. I think Joe Bob was talking about this too. Something that Full Moon has done. You got to get one of these. This is the Charles Band official Puppet Master Army bomber jacket. God almighty, look at that thing. That's making me moist just looking at it. I will give him this. The back of that is the design is killer. The front of it and the sleeves, not so much. The interior, no. Um, the back of it, that's a pretty awesome design. Now, the question I have, we're going to find out right now, is how much is this? $150. I mean, that's a small price to pay for that. I think. No. Nobody talks about that, and nobody really talks about full moon anymore except for uh Joe Bob, really. What was the purpose of producing something that never should the content never should I completely agree with that. It's true. There was no point other than to have Eric Freeman, which I'm sorry, Carter. I thought you were talking about that old shitty Killer Snowman movie. Something Lemmy would wear if he was a giant nerd. It does kind of look like that. For only $150, this can be yours now, though. I saw Joe Bob actually was sent one of these, so that's why I wanted to look and see if they had them, and I'm glad they did. They're having sales, buy one get one. I'm afraid to click on anything because Full Moon's not known for their political correctness. But let's try to click on just their box sets and see if maybe we don't get completely banned from the internet. Dear God, you gotta love that picture quality. That's what they got up as the example. The Full Moon Legacy box set you can get right now. What's in that? Oh God, a bunch of bullshit. I don't know why, but I'm endlessly fascinated with Full Moon. Nazi bastards and bombshells. Evil Bong. The Ultimate Tourist Trap Experience. I've actually got that figure, but I got it when it was on sale. I didn't get the big package deal or whatever. That figure looks like shit too. I'm sorry to tell Charles Band that. Oh, that's a good question. I shouldn't have got off there that quick. I was afraid I was going to run into some boobies or some incredibly racist materials. Let's see the box sets for the Puppet Master trunk. Where's that at? $250 for the cheap price of $250. That can be yours. I appreciate what you're doing, UTB. I also appreciate the fact that you believe no one would notice what you're doing. But I promise you, you're not the smartest guy here. You're probably not even the 10th smartest guy here, sadly. If I ever bought a slip cover, you mean like just a slip cover? Jesus. I'm sure I have. No, but I have I've never bought a slip cover, but I have bought a movie with a slip cover that I already owned, if that makes sense. Like I had like a standard edition of the movie and I bought the version with the slip cover on it. But that was probably only because I couldn't find the slip cover. Now I have gotten a bunch of slip covers also from Vinegar Syndrome through that reward system thing as well. But I don't think I've ever just bought a slip cover, which I would totally like fess up to that shit. Yeah, I'm kind of there with you too. Full Moon is a hard that's a hard company for me to get into. I like some of their stuff. I'm not as bad as, like, CK with it, but especially now, they're rough. You don't see that a lot either right now. I see a lot of people selling the Blu-ray and the slip is it a 4K? I don't even fucking know, together, but it's insanely expensive. No, no. I would just wait, TJ, on that. You're welcome, buddy. I'm glad we can agree that you're not the smartest fucking guy in the room. I'm happy that you've done well in your chosen field. I have no idea why you're in here arguing with a bunch of nerds, but I feel like there's a piece of you missing, and hopefully you find it. Um, I don't see how that could happen. Like to put out a whole Friday the 13th 4K box set, you would be talking about like $300-400. I do not see that happening. But now you could put out like so my assumption is we were talking about this before. Probably what they would do is put out like 3 of the movies at a time like they did with the Halloween set. And that'll still be about $100, 100 to $120. I would love to see somebody put out like or try to put out like a fucking boutique label style Friday the 13th 4K set and just say fuck it and pay, put it for like 450 to $500. It's possible. No, I think that we know who that guy is. We've been warned about him. So by several people. Uh, I hope not with toys, and I hope that the Night Flyer does though, because that is also another one of like the unsung Stephen King movies. I've got that on VHS somewhere laying around here. That's one that I guess it was too simplistic, and there wasn't enough known actors in that to make it as popular as some of the other Stephen King adaptations. But it's just as good in a lot of ways. And what is that guy's name? Son of a bitch. The dude that was in RoboCop. He's great in it. Yes, Mayor. I didn't even honestly didn't know it had a DVD. I've held on to that damn VHS for 20 years. Miguel Ferrer. There we go. I almost said that, but for some reason I thought that was somebody that was in like Jess Franco movies. God, who's putting out Thinner? That's being worked on right now. Is that oh shit? I hope it ain't Scream Factory. It probably is. Let's see. I watched that movie again recently, and for some reason, I remember it being like 1,000 times better. The gypsy in it's great, like the main gypsy guy. Everybody else in the movie is not not as good. I think I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with this side or not. This would be a good one to talk about because at this point, nobody really goes on this. Well, I won't say that. People still go on this site, but they don't have anything like they used to in terms of product. Um, I still love the site. I'm sure some people know about it. But if we head on over here, people that may know it, people that may not, Dark Delicacies, which has been around for at least 25 years. And basically, they're like a horror shop that's out in California that also does online orders, but they specialize in signed Blu-rays. And what they used to do was like they would do signed like whole cast shit, like everybody that they could get from the movie. And like when the Friday the 13th documentary came out, they had almost everybody sign that. When the Nightmare on Elm Street one came out, everybody signed that. And then gradually over time, that's kind of waned. And every now and then they'll have like a movie signing, and it'll be like maybe the director and a couple stars, something like that. But reason I bring this up is because that's where I remembered Thinner being released and signed by Tom Holland. So, if you're really a huge fan of Thinner, you can get the signed version there. No, I agree. It's not bad. It's like there's something missing from it. And I think it's got a lot to do with the performances in the movie too. It's just like maybe it's miscast. And I think it is. Like if you've read the book too, um, the hitman. I just feel like that was a kind of a miscast role. Yes, I already like when those 2 movies came out, man, like, when they were up for pre-order, um, I pre-ordered them immediately. High Tension and Inside, I mean. I didn't think about that actually, Cara. I think though that might be another part of the problem with this is that, like, the suit and everything is really of that era, and it's kinda, like, hard to not, notice. Yep. We actually knew the guys that, put that out around that time. Uh, real quick, I wanna bring this up. Yes. Yeah, Rotten Cotton back in the day was like that was the only place you could get shirts like that. And when you went to conventions, that's the only thing you really saw, unless it was like every now and then you would see like a bootlegger guy, like a T-shirt Joe type of guy that would have stuff, but very rarely. And then you would see like a lot of Rotten Cotton, and that was what everybody bought. If you go on a diet, you'd look much thinner. You wouldn't look so much like a fucking geek. Wow. So original. See why you get all the killer clients. Plus, I'm not even that fat, dude. You couldn't come up with anything better than that? If your grandmother had wheels, she'd be a bicycle. I mean, what the fuck does that what does that have to do with anything? Twice that I know of, Mayor. Um, that and the Hitcher being delayed have been, like, the 2 biggest reasons that I've kind of worried about Second Sight because, like, they keep pushing these releases back, and that's just not a good look. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought I was the only one on the screen that you could see. How could I make such a horrible mistake? You are not a very good talent booker, nor are you a very good troll. This one, I've never seen, but Synapse is putting it out. So there has to be something to this movie because Dawn May does not release shit unless there's something like cult ish about it or if it has some selling point to it. So I'm actually pretty curious about this. So this is an example though, they've actually got pretty much the whole cast. They got the director, they got the writer, Adrienne Barbeau, which I don't know how the hell they got her to do this, and the composer. This is the stuff they used to do this all the time. At 60 bucks, I don't know how much the regular Blu-ray is. Let's see. I mean, it can't be much. I feel like that is pretty close to what it's going to be if you just buy it from Synapse. Let's see. 50 bucks. So yeah, you get it 50 bucks from Synapse or 60 bucks with like signed by everybody. Yeah. Well, it's a pretty clever name too, because the owner's name is Dale Howison, I think. So Dark Delicacies. And from what I understand, he's like one of the nicest guys ever. If nobody's checked out that site though, I would definitely recommend you go on there. Like they pretty much every month have something like that. Comment is a lot of fun. For those people that have seen it, silly fun. So apparently it's like a goofy kind of movie. We talking about goofy as in like student bodies goofy? Are we talking about goofy as in Night of the Demons goofy? Like how kind of goofy are we talking about here? So let's see. Oh, another yeah, I forgot about this too. I'm gonna switch over here real quick because if this holds up, this would be an awesome deal. I doubt that it would. No, none of your clients are worth a shit, dude. I'm pretty sure that that's a well-known fact in the business. I know that you would like to believe that, and that's fine. We would all like to believe something. So, if this holds up though, so this Conan Chronicles, we actually got this. I think Wes and I both got this um on Amazon for about an hour or two. It was $40. And so far they haven't canceled it. They did this a couple of different times. And the first time they did it, which was about 2 weeks before the one that we got it on, they canceled the order and everybody got pissed off. But they haven't canceled it yet, and it comes out January, I believe. So this is pretty awesome if it does. So this is Conan the Barbarian and Conan the Destroyer together in like a brand new 4K. I don't know how you feel about Conan the Destroyer, but I mean, Jesus, I actually kind of like both of them. I don't know I mean, I know who he is, but I just like watching people fuck themselves over and try to be badass online. It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, so last check, it was still 42.99. So I don't know what the deal is there. Somebody fucked up. What was it at deep discount? $42 is definitely the cheapest that I've seen that though. Oh shit. I wonder something else that I could look at on here too, we could talk about. Has anybody seen pictures of the releases of the 4Ks of True Lies? I think True Lies is the big one right now. I don't think the Abyss is that bad, but hold on. Let me see if I can find this. So, reason why I ran across this was actually Rambo's stream, and he was talking about this. Apparently, um, James Cameron is huge into AI, which is fucking crazy. But considering like he made T2, but whatever, like he's big into using AI. There's Rambo. You can back me up on this. He's big into using AI for like digitally restoring these films to the point where it auto corrects the picture so much that it almost gets like a plastic look to it. It's supposed to be taking grain out of the picture because he hates grain, but it corrects it so much that like it almost looks like a mannequin or something. I was going to see if I could find. I didn't mean to click on that. I was going to see if I could find like some screenshots. Okay, yeah, here we go. So this is something. It's really bad. Like I didn't realize how bad it was. I mean, yeah, dude, you book people. It's just that they ain't no count. Like that's what I'm trying to say. I agree with you. I don't book people. I'm not an agent and didn't ever really want to be one. But I feel like that if you're gonna be an agent, you should at least try to get like people that are halfway decent. I'm not even positive you know what a mark is either. It's a carnival term. And brother, let me tell you that I am definitely not a mark in the sense that you're thinking of. So I have to blow this up a little bit, I think. Rambo, you went over this, so you probably know this better than I do. Uh if I can't even look at this. If you look at the picture, here's a better kind of there's a bigger kind of angle here. It's like it turns their faces into like a man like a doll face or something. Like it takes out all of the texture. I think that's what the problem is. It's taking out the grain, and you can see on the one on the right here, it's taking out the grain and it's also changing the skin tone to like a really bad like automatic setting that you would have on your television, like a standard setting on a TV. And I think that I think he's gonna go through with it, and that's pretty much what it's gonna be. Yeah, some sort of oh, that's not what I wanted to click on. Yeah, the A algorithm that he uses. I don't know who came up with this, but that's disturbing. Yeah, it's hard to see it, like, you really need, like I really need to, like, blow that up even more than it is, but it's really, really bad. And I think there's a picture of Jamie Lee Curtis where she looks like she's fucking well, it's not on here. It was on another site, though. The picture they had of Jamie Lee Curtis was one of the scariest damn things ever. Anyway, Rambo, do you know if there's any pictures of, The Abyss yet? Because 'Cause I'd be really curious to know what he does with that. Yeah, like Silly Putty, like a video game. Yeah, almost like the the graphics on, like, a newer video game now, how it's kinda looks human realistic, but not really. Um, Good question, Keith Stofferson. Yeah, so James Cameron has a hatred of film and grain, so he employed the AI algorithm to smooth these movies up. He did the same with Aliens 4K. That's really sad because people have been waiting like years and years and years to see these movies, and he's had control of them, I think. And now, like it's it's not the same as George Lucas and what he did, but it's probably just as bad, really. Waxy, yes, that's a good word. Everyone in those films, the ones that have been restored, looks like wax. Find the JLC one, yeah, I will. Hold on, because that's probably the worst one. Let's see. Uh, Let's see. Found something that have 5,000 fucking ads on it. Good Lord. Well, that is not it. There's that one picture that I just want to find where I think it perfectly kind of encapsulates everything that's wrong with that kind of restoration. Let me just try this. Hold on. Oh, shit. I can't find it. If anybody finds it, just put it up there. But for some reason, I've seen that one photo 8 fucking times in the last week, but I can't find it. Anyway, just look up True Lies 4K AI and you'll probably find something similar to it. Well, I don't that's what I was also wondering too. Like, so he's doing The Abyss. He's doing Aliens and he's doing True Lies. I don't know what the T2 situation is, but he is against the grain, yes. It's a very good pun. I can't put any of that. And Cameron's blaming the studio for using the 3D print of T2 4K. Is he going to blame the studio for that? Yeah. I mean, he's not real good about taking responsibility for any of this stuff. I just thought that was interesting though, because like I said, I'd seen it on Rambo's stream and I could not believe how shitty it looked. Rambo, though, since you're in here, what are your thoughts about the new Kickboxer release? Because I thought that was pretty killer. Also, Leviathan as well. Won't you get your ass on here, Rambo? Hold on. Where's that link at? There ain't shit else going on except Dollar General agents or promoters or whatever. Trying to cause chaos. Let me see if I can share this. Invite. Clicking to me button. Something bound to happen. This is a hot take. Who honestly gives a fuck about James Cameron anymore? Guy's a fucking prick. Also, Avatar fucking sucked. I kind of agree with all that. Wet one. It is going to be Kino. They're putting out a 4K Kickboxer. Felcher was talking about it last night. Towards the end of the show, which I'll grant you was a pretty long show. No, I actually missed that one. Although I do know that, like, I don't think Wes got it, but I think that I think Garrett got it. He was able to get one of them. They sold out pretty quick. I'd say within like 30 minutes, something like that. Anyone know how well the spaghetti western sets by these boutique labels sell? No. And there's a lot of them. That must be a pretty cheap property to get. But I have no idea how well they sell. That's another thing too. I would love to get some sort of like, I don't know. You never get this from anybody because they just wouldn't do it. But like a stat sheet about how these releases do, kind of piece by piece. Like these Arrow releases, I mean they did a lot of stuff that I would think would sell pretty well. But then they did like a lot of those Giallo box sets, and I just wonder like how those did. I put it in the chat actually, Rambo. But I can send it directly to you if you want. Oh God, dude. You mean the one that Goose did? Haddonfield? That was an interesting one. I'm gonna give Rambo a second. He's back there. I'm gonna give him a second to set his shit up. I'm gonna ask him about this situation because I feel like he's the authority when it comes to this shit. Oh yeah, you were doing it.
There's no setting up this past few days. The water here decided to break, so I had to get everything out, dry everything now. Gonna be fans running. Got that whole back there to deal with. So
Holy
Merry
shit.
Christmas there.
Holy Lord.
It's all back there, but water heaters are not cheap. Water heater broke. $1,000, buddy.
Yeah, I've had to replace those. It fucking sucks. Yeah.
So pretty much just been having the fans on, take a break now, but get them dries, then move all the shit back in. So this is a nice reprieve. But then we're talking about Jimmy Tammy.
Yeah, you probably get more pissed about this than you will about the water heater.
But yeah, you said it best. This has been a thing with James Cameron for the longest time. If you go back to even Laserdisc, there are articles where, without saying his name, people that worked with him or an assistant of him would say about how the story was that like they were trying to do a Laserdisc version, but then James Cameron would come in with like his TV and go, "It doesn't look right on my TV," and they go, "Well, we got a $3,000. We got that's like a cheap TV. We got like a $30,000 system." No, I use this TV all the time. He's so egotistical that he's right. He was proven right for a while because he had a good winning streak for a while. But he has a terrible track record when it comes to home video. To the fact that you have True Lies and The Abyss never got a Blu-ray, so you can't even say I'll just go back to them. And like you mentioned with this, he had this AI algorithm that was created, and he's obsessed with technology ever since. I mean, for a longest time, especially with the Avatar films. And he thinks it's like when I saw that there was a documentary called Film versus, I forget what it was, and it was all these people talking about going from film to digital. And Tarantino was on one side, loving film, and James
Yep.
Cameron was on the other side, saying, "I will never go back to film, digital all the way." And by doing this 4K algorithm, by doing this algorithm, the 4K style look like you see it all smooth. And on Instagram, I sent you a picture which had a
Oh,
couple of them. One of them at the bottom is
yeah.
the Jamie Lee Curtis,
Hold on.
and it looks god awful. It's waxy, it's mannequin, it's too smooth. The Aliens 4K, I
That's
see
yeah.
pictures. Ripley's forehead looks gray and like just like an alien's forehead, like a gray alien from the X-Files forehead.
I can't figure
And
him
it's
out though, man. Like I mean, the guy's made billions upon billions of dollars, and yet he doesn't see the issue with this. Like he doesn't, he doesn't think this is a problem or anything. I, I he what? I mean, do you honestly think he'll move forward with these, considering
and
all the
yet people
backlash?
defending people defending it already, saying, "Well, you haven't seen it on a disc. This will be so much better on a disc. This is just some of the stuff that's on digital." Or, "Well, you guys don't know what you're talking about. When it's moving and you see more, and you can't just judge by still pictures. You guys see it free flowing. The excuses are already being made, and how
I
do
mean,
you tell someone who is never wrong, supposedly?"
I tell you exactly what it looks like to me. You know, have you ever heard of like judder? When you like, there's a setting on your TV. If you turn it up, like it does something with the motion clarity, and it's supposed to improve the motion clarity when things are moving in the picture. But when you turn it up too high, it looks exactly like that. Like it's everything looks just like plastic, wax kind of thing, where it's like the AI of the TV is trying to overcorrect everything so much. And that's what it looks like that he's doing. It's just really depressing.
Oh yeah, these are films people have been wanting. I mean, especially with The Abyss and True Lies, they never had a Blu-ray, so you can't even say, people in the chat saying at least you go back to the Aliens Blu-ray. Not that that's maybe what you wanted, but it's going to be the better option, it seems. The Abyss and Blue. I mean, unless you want to stick with your DVDs. The Abyss, I don't know for certain. I've heard that it looks okay compared to the others, but I don't know for a fact. And True Lies looks the worst, and it's ridiculous. But and Aliens, like that's one of my favorites, and I'm not buying that. There'd be no
No,
reason for me to buy that.
no, I mean, yeah, that's some of the worst shit I've seen. I don't think I've ever seen a restoration done like that. That was that bad.
Mm.
But yeah, like what I was saying on here was just go online. Anybody likes to listen to this, if you want to see this, look up just anything, True Lies, 4K, restoration, any of that stuff, and you'll find a lot of different pictures that are awful. But on a positive
Mhm.
note, Kickboxer. I am
Very
excited about.
curious about. Yeah, it's a Vestron, I believe, releasing it. I guess.
I think it's Kino. I think did he say Vestron? He
Oh,
did say
Kino.
Vestron. Fuck. Ugh. He did say Vestron. For some reason, I fucking had Kino in my head the whole time. But yeah,
It makes sense. I mean, if they release like American Ninja and stuff, it would seem right in their line. But I'm curious because the only one I have is a DVD, and I'm curious also about, I guess, the alternate version. I would assume
that's what he
as the
hinted at. Yeah, he didn't come out and say it, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was. Yeah.
definitely be curious about that. So that's definitely a absolutely look for. I love the film, favorite of mine. Absolutely look forward to that. I'm very curious because people have been wanting that forever. I'm surprised that Vestron got it. I'd be wondering like how they got it, but if it works out good, don't matter at the end of the day, I guess.
No, I think Vestron, now that I think about it, would actually be like the better label to get that, really. So I was thinking
I guess
too. Oh, go ahead.
I guess I was just surprised because I didn't know. Like, I think you mentioned there were only like 4 releases in a year, so I didn't know if they were. That seemed like a big title. I would think like maybe that would cost a lot of money to get. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. I didn't think that'd be a cheap title to get, or maybe it is.
I couldn't imagine it would be either, though. Honestly, I was thinking though, and you may know this more than I do, like a Kickboxer box set, the Kickbox set, something like that. That's a good pun name for it too. So rights wise, I mean, do you know the studios that have like some of the sequels? Because there's like fucking 7 of those movies in there.
As far as I know, there's 2, 3, and 4, and they all have Sasha Mitchell
Yep.
from Step by Step. And then fifth was a guy named Mark Dacascos. He was in that. I swear there was a DVD long ago that had Kickboxer 2 through 5. If that's the case, then that would have to be under the same umbrella. But as for where they are now, I don't know. I didn't really follow the sequels that much. It's kind of like the Bloodsport sequels. I didn't really follow the sequels as much as the first.
Yeah, the Bloodsport sequels, I don't think I've seen any of those. I have seen a couple of the Kickboxer ones, like the Saucer Mitchell ones. I don't know why, but I definitely have seen the second one, which the second one's not that bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's, it's not horrible or anything like that. I just like to see those movies get something. And
Yeah, I'm
you're
not sure
you're
where they would be.
you're right though.
Maybe
There was
Lionsgate?
maybe you're right. Artisan wasn't Artisan, which is Lionsgate anyway. Like they put it, I think they put out the DVD you're talking about. They had like 2 through 5 on it.
Sounds about right.
No.
And finding out with Artisan, because they released the Blair Witch Project, I saw an interview recently from Eduardo Sanchez. He was doing an interview, I forget with who. He mentioned something about next year there was going to be like a big 25th anniversary Blu-ray packed with features.
Oh shit.
That he said
Yeah.
that there was like a new documentary, and that they were going to do like a new transfer because something about the way we've seen it is not really how it was always meant to be seen when it went from theater to DVD, and I guess like all this new footage. So if that does come into play, I'd definitely be curious about that because this is the 25th anniversary, and if they don't do it, that's the best time to do it.
Truth. So I know we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. So I don't want to like go ahead and start in on this, but just what? I just can't help but just I don't know, man. Like I really don't think at this point that there's any property left where they're not going to go and try to do this with it. anything that has a name associated with it, and I'm talking about the X-Files, uh, the new diverse X-Files. I don't know what else to call it because that's what they're basically saying it'll be. So, God, I don't know, man. I just don't know. Don't understand it.
X-Files is one of the most diverse casts. You got aliens, Bigfoots, creatures, all sorts. That's pretty damn diverse.
Well, as I remember, like, I didn't think that there was a huge problem with diversity in the original X-Files, really. In terms of like, you had Monica Reyes, you had, Stephen Williams, Monica Reyes. Uh, there was I can't ever pronounce her name, but the Russian. Like, I didn't feel like that they weren't covering like the bases of that. But for some reason, somebody came along and like apparently they haven't been covering the bases well, and they got to do that now.
Well, it says everything that's the first thing they say. They don't tell what the story is. They don't tell what the characters are. They just let you know it's diverse because that's the most important thing. Because that's the only piece of information.
But let me ask you a question about that. Is that a selling point? Like, because when I hear shit like that, I'm just like, my God, like, because you kind of know what it's going to be when you hear stuff like that. But to somebody else, is that a selling point that I'm not like? Because the people that are listening to our show and stuff like that, they generally, that's not something that they're into. But is there somebody out there that's like, yes, I've been waiting on like an X-Files with like all like ethnic cast? Like, is that a selling point for anything?
To an echo chamber that will listen to what they say on whether Twitter or whatever platform they use, where the echo chamber that is Hollywood, where look how wonderful in progression we are. We're not in the ancient times. We don't have all these different types of people, all this different types of stuff going on. And if it's diverse, then is it going to be more stories in the Jordan Peele type of way of dealing much more with racial tensions and aliens being racist and Bigfoot's part of the Ku Klux Klan? I don't know. It's you see with Disney, and I bring them back up because that's a company that followed that suit and has done nothing but hurt them financially. They being Hollywood still think that this is what people want to hear to make them seem as if they're much more self-important. Look how progressive I am. They will literally say, Hollywood, there's too many white people. I'm not making that up. That's a common thing that is said bluntly. And it's like, who are the characters? Why is the first thing you're telling me, hey, it's different race or different? I'm like, who are the characters? What story are you telling? For some reason, it's not important enough.
And I think this is where, like, what Jerry L is saying is like exactly where most people are at with it. He says, I could care less as long as it's done well. The problem is they're going to put more emphasis on the diversity, sexuality, and flat out bizarre messages when pandering. So yeah, it's not it's not even about entertainment at some point. It's just about, like you said, like trying to be progressive and like trying to push some sort of agenda. And that's what you lead with. Like, you don't have any idea about anything else. You just know that it's good. I'm just trying to figure out in my mind, even the people that would like that they're banking that would appeal to, I don't even think they give a fuck. Like, I don't think anybody was asking for like a diversified X-Files. Like, I just don't think that was a thing. So it's got to be something that just these companies are just coming up with to try to make money, hinging on the fact that they think this will appeal to like everyone, like a broader, but it never does. Like this shit never works. And they keep doing it over and over again. I for the life of me cannot fucking figure out why.
Yeah, I mean what was it they did? The more diverse Quantum Leap TV show I grew up with. They had a new show and it's more diverse. No one talked about that show. It didn't do anything. No one remembers. Some people be go, wait, there was another Quantum Leap show? Yes, the show was stopped back in the day.
I didn't even remember
This
that.
will
I
be
swear
the
to
same.
God. They did a,
Yep.
a quantum leap. I had no idea.
Because the lead is now an Asian guy. I forget his name. But they wanted to be more diverse. And I'm like, well, this show is all about diversity. It's about teaching these great moral lessons throughout history about tolerance and everything in between done through storytelling. But this is there's a reason why people go towards like South Park, the Pandaverse. That gets
Yeah.
referenced a lot lately
Yeah.
because they hit the nail on the head. Truth hurts.
It says Keith Stofferson, which is the greatest name I've heard on here, says they're trying hard to appeal to younger generations so they don't have to come up with new ideas. Yeah, like it would have to be that it's a generation that I'm completely disconnected to. If there is a generation, like if there's a group of kids that like this works with, I have no idea. Like I don't see them. You know what I mean? Like I don't have any connection to that generation whatsoever. So maybe it ain't for me, but it just strikes me as odd, man, that that's like your main selling point is like the lowest common
Well,
denominator, like is your main thing. Something that has nothing to do with the actual quality of the content, what it's about, any of that stuff. Like just the face value part of it.
well, even in the school system, they're teaching that kind of thinking more so in the school system. I mean, long ago, I remember reading an article from a professor of a college that did this dissertation about how Alien and Predator were racist because the alien represented apparently a black woman and the Predator was racist because he had the dreadlocks. And this is a professor who taught students, and this was his line of thinking. And it's like, okay, if that's your line of thinking, which to me, no one in the history of ever thought of, like, then what are you teaching kids? What kind of thinking? And granted, this is movies and it's harmless, but it's like if this is the type of thinking that people see on TikTok or other platforms,
Yeah.
and they younger people being look at this and going, well, that's they're act that way. That means I have to act that way. That means that has to be the right way of thinking, right? It's like they're being taught, whether in schools or this being taught in front of a TikTok or a computer, like, well, this must be the way to think. This has to be the way to go. It can't be the other way. That's too toxic, or it's too sexist, or it's too racist, or it's too intolerant. And I know I sound like Jesse Ventura and his conspiracy theories, but even if you don't believe the whole thing, there's a dash of truth in there.
Yeah, and it's like there's got to be a middle ground here between like like your fucking Ben Shapiro's and your, the people that are far on that side, and then I guess the woman that's in charge of Disney on this side. You know what I mean? Like somewhere in the middle of that is probably like there's got to be more people that have, and I'm about positive that that's where the majority of people fall is in the middle of that somewhere. Like I don't think people are fucking, you know, super hyped about anything like this coming along. And I also think that people in general want to see like progress, but it's just, this doesn't feel like progress to me. This feels like a bunch of bullshit. It feels like just pushing an agenda to be pushing a fucking agenda for no like reason.
Pandering. Absolute
Pandering.
pandering.
And this is another point that I think we both made at different times. It seemed like that they, like back in the past when they did this in movies, like it wasn't like they didn't beat you over the head with it. It wasn't the primary like drive of the movie. It was just something that they would put in from time to time. Dawn of the Dead's a pretty good example of that, the original Dawn of the Dead, in terms of like it was about consumerism and kind of the fall of society, but they didn't fucking, that wasn't explicitly stated. And you at least had to like, you know, you had a good fun movie to kind of go along with that also happened to be a part of. But nowadays it's like everything is just that one thing. That's what's pushed on you.
Yeah, another good example is the People Under the Stairs, which we've
Yeah.
talked about now. They're remaking.
Yep.
Jordan Peele producing, and you don't see a big difference there. That'll be a good compare and contrast of what Jerry said and what they're going to do. It's going to be a lot more thicker in terms of its social connotations. But is it an entertaining movie? Is it an entertaining story? That's secondary.
No, that seems to be,
nowadays.
yeah, that definitely seems to be secondary. So Alfa Romero says, sadly, these companies aren't losing as much money as we'd like to think that they are. Well, fuck no, they can't. I mean, I don't think like Disney is fail proof. Like they make so much money, like they could lose billions upon billions of dollars and they'll still have billions upon billions of dollars. There's no way to end that company.
Maybe not to end, but there's always, I think, a case of some type of takeover of the higher ups. Or even like what was the rumor I heard of Paramount and Warner Brothers merging? Which would
Yeah.
be crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, who like I could say never to Disney, but if you asked me 10 years ago, I would say I would never think there'd never be a 20th Century Fox. I never think, well, they're Paramount and Warner Bros. Going to be one company. I never would have thought that. What, to make more monopoly? I expect the unexpected nowadays with how things go, and they'll make money from theme parks and stuff. But if they keep losing money from movies, which this has been one of the worst years for Disney. The Marvel films have not been doing well. I think they only have one Marvel film, Deadpool 3, which apparently is in all sorts of upheaval. Rumors that Bob Iger's, this is a rumor, Bob Iger's pissed off at Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds is making fun of Marvel and Disney, and Bobby getting pissed off because you can't make fun of me. I mean, if that's what their money makers are, and you only have one now, and if you screw that up, I mean, there's only so many times that you could fall on the sword before you give in for good.
That's
It may
true.
take a while, but you keep doing it, it's going to catch up to you.
I mean, I would love nothing more than to see all this shit that's going on right now go away in terms of that kind of thing. But it doesn't look like it's going anywhere, really. I wish. Holiday Styles brings up a good point, though. He says his drug deals stay private and he picks his dealer on quality, not religion or race. So it's a good point.
Yeah, the Stuntman Mark is good for the quality.
So the Boba Fett say Disney is losing a lot of money with Marvel and Star Wars. I don't know how much money they're losing with that, but I do know that that's way too fucking oversaturated. Both those, like, there's like 50 Star Wars offshoot shows, man. Like, who's watching that? Is there really like a base of people watching all that stuff?
Not as much as they wanted, because what they did is they made something that people deemed special to the exact opposite. Like, you may have a favorite cereal, but you may not want that cereal every single day. And people may like Star Wars, but they didn't want a Star Wars thing, 3 of them or every year. And I mean, you oversaturated, and people got tired of it. Plus, you made piss poor product. So they hurt the brand. What people were excited for, now it's a very lukewarm reaction, and that's what they did. They took something that
Yeah.
people were like gun ho, and when you make it lukewarm, you get bad returns.
Yeah.
And so you think you're making all this, but you you muddied the pool too much.
I think that, yeah, you're right. That's a big part of it. Like in the beginning, when it first started, they brought Star Wars back. Everybody was super excited because they thought that they would right all the wrongs of the George Lucas prequels, and they thought everything was going to be this magical fairyland with these movies. And then, like after the second one, and definitely after the third one, people were like, it's kind of bad. And then when they did like all of those spin-off series and all of those like cartoons, animated shit, yeah, it gets to the point now where if I even hear the worst word Star Wars, I want to fucking just turn the TV off. Like I don't want anything to do with any Star Wars products, commodities, anything. It's just like it's just you're right. They oversaturated the whole thing and it just fucking killed it. And same thing with Marvel. Like it could be the greatest superhero movie of all time, and I'll guarantee I'll never see it because I just have no interest in any of those movies. Because you would have to sit through 20 god awful Marvel movies to get to one that's even like halfway decent at this point. To me, like it's not worth your effort, really.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've liked some of them, not for a long time, and they don't really get much in terms of they don't want people who think for themselves because they want people to follow the assembly line. Otherwise, if you don't, you get kicked out. I mean, from who was a guy Edgar Wright who was going to do Ant-Man, but nope, he didn't follow the protocol. Scott Derrickson wanted to do the second Doctor Strange, but he wanted to do his movie. He didn't follow the protocol, so he's like, "Fine, I won't do it. I'll do the Black Phone," which was a much better movie than the Doctor Strange film that came out with Sam Raimi because he decided to follow their guidelines and it failed. And then this whole thing with the actor Jonathan Majors, where they built up this big villain, and then he got arrested, guilty, and now they're gonna change everything when they built all this stuff up, and then they're forcing all this stuff we mentioned before, diversity, all that stuff, and people are tired of that. I mean, I'd be curious to people who are gun ho as to sincerely what is it they like about the current state? What is it about these stories?
I never
What is it
meet these
about? What is it?
people. Like
Never?
I never meet people that are gung ho about either one of those things. So I don't know if that's just like I mean I meet. Don't get me wrong. Like there's a lot of people that I know that are really into like comic book movies and stuff like that. But in terms of like Star Wars and things, I don't that like there's people that love it, but I don't know anybody that watches all that shit or that like just sits around and waits for new Star Wars shit to drop. And I really would not want to know that person, by the way, either. But I didn't know this either. The Mandalorian audience dropped 70% from season 1 to season 3. I could believe that too.
Yeah. Uh, I have seen that show. It's really the only Star Wars I've liked since back in the day. But then the third season, they got poor storytelling, poor writing. First two were actually pretty good, but like everything else, they just dwindle and they hire less talented people, and I don't know what it is. Yeah, to the ground, right down 6 feet under.
Yep. Have you
Should
seen
stay
this
buried.
Rambo? I haven't seen this trailer yet.
Nah, I didn't even like the first one, so I didn't bother to see the trailer for Jason Mamma Mia, the Roman Reigns of the Sea, his new film.
Roman Reigns. See, that's great. If it doesn't have
Yeah.
Amber Heard in it, then I don't want to see it.
I think she's in it. I think. She's the star.
Yep. She has to be. She's shitting you bad now. Come on.
Yeah.
People are tired of diversity. I don't know if that's it exactly, but they're definitely tired of like the bullshit. Like, yeah. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe this is it too. Like it's working on the younger generations. It's definitely not working on like the older like 80s, 90s generations though. I can tell you that. But if it is working on them, I don't know. I'm not connected enough to that generation to know.
By the way, Peter Weller, love you in this movie. Coming February 20th, finally, Tina Lorber. Thank you.
I thought you'd be psyched about that one for sure.
Absolutely. After over a year. Yeah. Very cool. As long as James Cameron's not part of it for any reason in his AI algorithms. God, I hope that doesn't catch on. I hope people don't, for some reason, think those look good, and then we don't use it for our stuff.
Witch Hunter says, I wish I could be you. As a young buck, I have to see these people every day. So apparently they do exist. That's a fucking shame then. That, I mean, I don't know.
Well, I mean, if that's the case, then people like Witch Hunter give us hope that they'll overcome.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Like, I've got a ton of kids. I've got almost a whole basketball team full of kids, but like, none of my kids really give that much of a shit. Number one about movies. They're either doing Fortnite, they're online, they're doing some shit like that. Like they don't care about movies like I used to care about movies and at that time period. So
when you say online, is it like YouTube or
yeah, like any kind of social media is kind of like sites and things like that, like YouTube and TikTok and fucking all that kind of stuff. So it's not like they just don't seem to care about movies as much. I guess because there's 100 other things to draw their attention. Whereas when I was a kid, there was like 3 things that would draw your attention, right? Like you had outside, TV, or like a board game. It was, I mean, you know what I mean? Like now there's like up until Nintendo came out, then you had Nintendo and that's what everybody was. But now it's like there's 80 million things you could be doing online.
Oh yeah.
Let's see. Jonathan Majors. I don't even know what the story was behind that. Like, I don't know why he got fired. I know he got fired, but
if I can remember correctly, forgive me if I'm wrong about the details. For those that don't know, Jonathan Majors, he was in Creed 3. He was in some Marvel films as his character named Kane. I guess him and his girlfriend were in you would call a toxic relationship. And I guess what happened was somehow he was texting on his phone. His girlfriend, who has a criminal background, tried to steal the phone from him. So, of course, he tried to get it back.
Yeah.
And somehow a scuffle, which led to kind of him maybe placing her or like kind of grabbing her. I think by doing that, somehow like her finger was broken. But then I also remember hearing that the taxi cab driver who's nearby said that she was the aggressor and that like he had ran off and I think tried to get cops. So he was found guilty, but I think it was a misdemeanor. But they don't really tell you in the headlines. It just says guilty. So it makes it seem as if he did what Rocky did to the beats in Rocky.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't seem like that was the case, but I mean, it's a weird thing. I mean, it's all weird. I mean, to not get on this guy, Ezra Miller, the guy who
Oh
starred in The
God.
Flash, this guy
Yeah.
did. He's even more of a head case that he wasn't fired. I'll put it that way.
I always
Go
thought that
figure.
situation was crazy with him. They kept letting him do all that shit. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So most people have the same opinion on here, Rambo. They're saying things like this and this, and you know this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, not to get the tit tat. I won't go too far in the details, but the whole thing that was going around for a bit where people on TikTok, they read a declaration from someone involved with 9/11, and then they said, wow, this guy, he was in the right. And I'm like, you think who was in the who and the what? That's the thinking. Like, that's how they're. I won't go into detail for folks. It's out there, but I just want to look at each of these person's face and go, do you have brain cells, or are they illegal where you live at? Did I just drop sharply when I was away? Or do they have to be bred again? Do they have to be farmed again and inserted into your skull?
I
Like,
think so.
through a needle through your eye? I just don't understand. I don't get it. Maybe it's not my job to get it. I don't know.
Somebody even brought up. I'd forgotten about it. This guy and all his bullshit. Army Hammer. Remember when he was trying to like eat women or something like that? Yeah, I kind of agree with that one. I kind of feel like he should have been canceled. Cannibalistic, like, yeah, that's probably a cancelable offense. That poor son of a bitch.
I mean, if our favorite pen pal Victor Silva got more jobs afterward, maybe some of these people will get more jobs afterward.
Fuck.
So
Uh,
never say never.
but yeah. Anyway, we should save some of this stuff for tomorrow though, because we're going to be doing
Yeah.
a whole show about this shit anyway. But yeah, I want to thank you for coming on, Rambo, helping me out with this shit. Um,
Thank you.
we will be back tomorrow at 10, I believe, to do No News is Good News with Mark. Hopefully, is Mark going to be in that shit? Okay, I think he is. Pretty sure he is. And yeah, so we'll do that. And then it's like show after show after show. Um, but yeah, I hate to hear about what happened with the water heater, man. And
That is what it is.
I hope that gets fixed. I hope it wasn't too bad.
I mean, well, I mean, it's replaced, so that's working. It's just drying the stuff, cleaning the stuff, moving stuff back in. It'll take some time, but it'll get done.
But yeah, thanks for coming on. And I appreciate everybody that was in here tonight, except for that one fucking guy. I did not appreciate that guy. It was like,
Yeah, yeah, I
it was
missed
like,
that part. I don't know who the hell that guy was or what his deal was.
he doesn't know either. It reminded me of like Dead Pit Circuit, like 2008, when we had like all the trolls in the world. It's the same kind of same kind of vibe. But I appreciate everybody for coming on here and listening. There's more shows coming up very, very soon. And fuck, Christmas is coming up, man. Like, Jesus Christ, it's on Monday. So Merry
Oh yeah,
Christmas to everybody. Yeah. Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Quantum Leap, whatever you do.
happy Chinooka, as some
Yes.
people call it.
Yeah. And we will see you guys later, though. Take care, Raymond.
Thank
Give us
you.
a thumbs up,
Up you butts.
like, subscribe. And if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a fuck. If you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to touch nothing.
Listen, they need to do that.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell.
There's all kinds of wonderful shirts over at shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. You can get some Dead Pit radio shirts. You can get Last Out on the Left. The Hills Have Eyes. Texas Chainsaw. Oh, wait, you can't say Texas Chainsaw. All kinds of shirts, folks. You're gonna love them. Shop.deadpit.com.
Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Deadpit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows, fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.